Do you catch yourself finding things such as saying things such as, when I do this or when I get there, I should be doing this, or if this, then I could have that? Well, your language could actually be holding you back. It could be putting you in a box, and it could be a secret protective mode that is keeping you from growth. That is what we're talking about today. We are talking about the cost of playing small and how that might have a ripple impact, not only for your business, for your life, and for those who you serve. Stay tuned, because I'm Clara Capano, and this is Clarity in Action. Welcome to Clarity in Action. This is the show where we have real conversations that are going to challenge your perspectives and drive real action. So if you are tired of holding back and you're ready to make bold moves, this is the show for you. Join us as we are going to take you from confusion into clarity. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Clarity in Action. You're going to want to have a notepad ready, and this is probably one you're going to want to come back to and listen to again and again, because it really is about inner strength. It's really about changing how we show up. You know, the whole point of this show is to have conversations that challenge our perspectives so we can inspire change and transformation. And I'm super excited to have Luann Horobin with me today. She is a mindset and transformational coach. She works with a lot of leaders, a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners to help them get past all those misalignments, misbeliefs, and missteps that we oftentimes end up getting in our own way. So Luann, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Clara. I'm really happy to be here. It's exciting
Yeah.
to be able to talk about this a little bit more, especially with your background as well.
Yeah, I'm really glad we're doing this, because I think so many times, we can become our own worst enemy. And I think we get in our way and we create these, people call them limiting beliefs, whatever it is, but sometimes we wear those almost like a security blanket, and they really keep us small. And I would love to kind of go back and understand from you, what was your moment of clarity where you had to wake up and be like, this way of thinking is not serving me, and it's time to change and transform?
hmm Yes, well, that's very clear for me. So earlier, probably in my mid 30s or somewhere around there, I was I was very achievement oriented all of my life. Like very, I had said, like from being raised on a farm, we were definitely learned productivity at a very early age, like before I went to school, and so that was my mode, and it helped me and it served me well for quite a while until it didn't. And when I didn't actually see this coming to me,
Mhm.
because in my opinion, I thought, things were coming along pretty good. And I was quite happy with that. And then there was a point where literally my whole life changed. My life changed personally.
Mm.
And I was in a role that I got a very unexpected package from, and I just did not see it coming at all, because, because it was actually going well. I mean, I was getting really good feedback,
Yeah.
is where I'm going with when I say it's going well. So, so then I thought, well, like, how does this happen? Like all of a sudden you're on the track and then you're completely off the track. So that was a learning for me though,
Mhm.
because my typical approach of, head down, go after it, was really not working.
Yeah.
And there was two parts to that. The one part of it was that I was growing beyond. I was recognizing that I really liked growth,
Hmm.
and I was feeling a bit of the restriction that came from, or the restriction that I felt
Yeah.
in working in the different roles that I had been in. And I mean, it's not like they were really confined, but they felt confining to me because I really like to expand and grow.
Yeah.
And so it was interesting, because when I thought of going back into the field, which I could, it was definitely not internally compatible.
Hmm.
Like I literally I just got a really vicious knot in my stomach. It's like, oh. no,
Yeah.
I just couldn't even do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, well, okay, well, maybe this is a bad day. Maybe I'm just, how we say things. Well, maybe it's just I'm still bothered by, the last thing. Maybe I'm doubting myself, like all the
Yeah.
maybes.
All those
And
maybes, all those doubts. Exactly.
and and then with some time, I thought, I don't think this is going to be. I think this is the time for a change because I had wanted to branch out from where I was. I wanted to go into the private sector. I'd wanted
Okay.
to go into more of a people development role. And but I didn't realize how strong that was
Sure.
until I was right in the mode.
Yeah. So true.
And yes, and the other switch was that the heads down approach, which had served me well, was really not serving me.
No. And that's what it is again, that concept of it serves us until
Mm.
it doesn't. I think many of us can relate to that. And as you're talking about this growth and you use the word constricting, all that came to mind is, a lot of these, invertebrates with their exoskeletons and thinking that they have to shed their skin. They have to,
Yeah.
molt to be able to grow. And sometimes I wish as humans, we could do that same thing and just kind of shed the old us and know that. And then also knowing though that when you're growing, that's also when you're most vulnerable. And I think that's why a
Mm.
lot of people fight the growth because you have to be vulnerable to get there. And it's not easy to do all of those.
No, it's the opposite of easy. It's
Yeah,
it's really, it's
exactly.
actually really messy, and I totally understand how it creates a lot of self-doubt for ourselves because we're used to coming along on a track and we're used to having the rewards of success and that type of thing.
Mhm.
But we're actually moving towards a different type of success, just not really recognizing it then. Because I know I did not recognize it
Yeah.
until it was literally a physical reaction to me.
Hmm.
And it was quite interesting how then I really recognized I needed to shift
Yeah.
and I needed to shift how I approached everything, which led me into coaching and which ultimately led me into the transformational work. And
Yep.
I'm so grateful because when I look back, I really did enjoy my role. Although I felt confined, I was looking for other things, but I didn't realize actually how much I had grown out of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know when
Exactly.
I would have left that role
Yeah, we don't
because,
know it until we can get out and look backwards.
yes.
Since you work with people and again, helping them transform a lot of their belief systems so they can grow, what would you say in working with leaders, entrepreneurs, a lot of the people who are following the show, what would you think are some of the more common, I'll say, belief slash misbeliefs that people are having, those belief systems that we're holding on to that maybe are not serving us?
Uh, well, that's a really good question. So typically it's looking at like where is something not really working to the degree that it could be.
Yeah.
And and it's also shows up in a way that it's like we hit a wall and it's like there's only so far that we can go.
Hmm.
And that's when we are under I call them also self-protective strategies, because there is a reason that, which is real to us. There's a real reason why we're not stepping further. Like, it's like toes in the water, but not
Yeah.
totally the foot. And, and that's because we have a real reason within ourselves.
Sure.
And it does take some digging to get into that reason, to actually even recognize it and to see that I actually am I actually have my foot on the gas and on the brake. And that's actually one of the ways that we can recognize when we're in one of those places where we're ready to move, we're ready
Hmm.
to grow, and we're not actually growing. The
Yeah.
foot on the
Oh my
gas and
God.
the foot
Just
on the brake.
again, a total visual of, sometimes, I'll drive and I'll forget I have the parking brake on and it'll be like, why is the car not going forward? I'm hitting the gas. And so true. It's like we tell
Mhm.
ourselves outward, we're like, oh no, I'm growth. I'm moving forward. And we don't pay attention to the weight that's holding us back at the same time. And I think you're right. We've got to really do that. What is the real reason? It's probably some sort of fear. And like you said, you're in a role, you're succeeding at it. So you're getting the positive feedback every day. And
Mhm.
if you let go of that, again, you have to rebuild. And it's a lot of those things. And I think those are great. So you've been working with a lot of people, and I'm sure that you've seen something. So in reflecting, when you see someone that is sort of playing small, that is living with the brakes on, someone that is sort of surviving versus someone who has gone through the transformation and is thriving, what are some of the differences in mindset, in belief systems, in how they energetically show up and operate every day between that person who's surviving versus thriving?
So typically I think I would say the most common, there's more than one, I would say, but I think the one that's most common is the person who is surviving may not actually be recognizing that they're surviving.
Mm-hmm.
And it's apparent in their language and in their actions. Because they have a belief that something's not possible.
So what
So
is sorry to cut you off. What is some of the language so that if maybe somebody's here, maybe they'll be like, oh, I do say those things and I do have that language when they're not realizing it.
well, there's a lot of when,
Mm.
like when this, then. And there's other things of I should or I do. Like it's a little bit repetitive. There's a sense of a repetition, like a structure type of thing. But the one common thing is that things that they want are typically in the future. Like
Yeah.
it's like out of reach type of thing. Or
Yeah.
and there's a feeling that there's a reason that it's out of reach. The other aspect of that is that these protective strategies, if we were to address them, I call this so my goal, I call the one big thing, but the protective strategies uh, are really clever,
Mm.
and they really know how to push our buttons. So to recognize a self-protective strategy, we would have to ask ourselves, like, let's say, for example, if I was, let's say, worried about or not comfortable, avoiding is another thing that is
Mhm.
apparent when someone is fit under the grip of those self-protective strategies. If someone, and I'm just going to use an example, like speaking in large groups or taking charge in a greater capacity of a group, that in an area that is a stretch. It's a total stretch. So when they really can't step into that, like it's to the point where it's avoiding. It's to the point where, I mean, I'll sabotage. I'll watch TV. I'll scroll
Yeah.
anything to avoid facing
Mhm.
whatever that thing is. It's keeping us in that self-protective strategy. But the thing is that it's not really obvious. It's not like it has like a, I don't know. It's not like it has a sign on it that says, by the
Right.
way, I'm just trying to hold you back.
Well, no, and I think
We
again,
actually
it's the
believe it.
recognizing it. So let's do so I know for me, like one of my protective strategies, and I became aware of it. So, I'm aware of
Yes.
it now, but I wasn't aware of it for many years, is I just want to go and just crawl into bed. I'm just going to take a nap. I'm just going to sleep. It's like 'cause my
Oh,
brain is
yeah.
so overwhelmed that I just want to go and lay down. But again, it protects me because it's an avoidance strategy. So if you were
Yes.
working with someone, or like even with me, if I notice that I go back to that, what are some things that we should do when we are aware and we can notice? Because the trigger is still going to be there, the
Hmm.
behavior still might be there, but how do we pull ourselves out of it once we are aware of it?
Really good question. So you've raised a really good point. And the survival has a fair amount of avoidance, and the decisions are based on fears, like I can't do this, or I won't do this, or there's an obstacle. There's a reason that you
Right.
cannot take that action. So in the growing mindset is one that embraces it. So the difference is that once you develop a growing mindset, you actually recognize that anytime I'm avoiding something, it's like I recognize that energy and I actually embrace it, because I know that on the other side of that avoidance is exactly what I want.
Mm.
So in other words, these are things that we avoid, these things that we're really nervous of, these obstacles, they really are, they're actually the bridge to our goal.
Yeah.
And the growth mind,
Wow.
this person who thrives begins to recognize when they're avoiding something, they literally go after it,
Hmm.
versus when prior to that, prior to that, it runs them
Yeah.
versus they run themselves. Like they have much more, they're more inner
Mm.
game oriented.
Yeah.
And in that sense, they're more objective
Yeah.
versus when we're surviving, we're kind of in it.
Yeah.
And
And I
it's
think
kind
you're
of,
right. It's like these protective strategies because they are protecting us. It's, we talk about the
yes,
comfort zone. You're not going to learn anything in the comfort zone. It's designed to keep you comfortable, but you don't grow there. And
yeah,
I hear a lot of that in what you're bringing up too. And, the people that are thriving are the ones that are looking for that and acknowledging them and saying, okay, it's here. I'm having a moment of that. I'm not going to let it control me. I'm not going to let it take me over. I'm not going to let it stall my growth. I'm going to lean into it more. And I love when you say that these moments are actually the bridges to the goal.
yes, they
And
are the
let's use them.
bridges.
That's fantastic. That's a great way of putting
Yes.
it.
And there's one other aspect to this that is a key factor is when I'm surviving, the external world has in a much stronger influence in my perspective on my success.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm thriving, I recognize that it's me internally. I'm the one that drives my success. The
Yes.
outside world does not drive it.
I love that.
So
Fantastic.
it is quite a shift,
Yeah.
but it's actually, it's kind of it's deep work
It is
because,
very deep work because, again, it's the acknowledgement, it's the being honest, and that's not always easy to do. What I
oh,
often find is, I'll talk with people, and so many people are battling burnout, they're battling the overwhelm.
mhm,
And I think on some level, they do want to get out of it, but because it's work and because they're probably confused and don't know what the trigger is, and they're feeling so overwhelmed because they're in it right now, you approach them and you say, hey, I want to help with this. Or they talk, and their response is, you know what? It's fine. It'll get better. It's just, this is
mhm,
just the season that I'm in right now. And you know what? It's really not fine. So when you're talking with
mhm.
someone, is that an indication that they just don't want to acknowledge it? Or what can we do with people when we know they're drowning and they're on the downward spiral, but they're just sort of blocking it by saying, no, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's just a period. It'll get better. Clarity in Action is proudly sponsored by Telehealth for Her, where women's health finally gets the attention it deserves. At Telehealth for Her, they offer professional, comprehensive medical care designed to optimize your hormones, restore your gut health, and boost your energy. Because let's get real. Who doesn't need more energy? Your body is the foundation of everything you build. So let's make sure we are fine tuning it for optimal performance. So if you've been out there crushing it in life, but still feeling a little bit off with some of that brain fog, hormone changes, sleepless nights, or emotions that are all over the place, I'm here to tell you, you are not alone. Telehealth for Her helps ambitious women just like you take back control and feel like yourself again so that you can keep leading with purpose and power. Check them out at mariahprinceallen.com or Telehealth for Her and start your journey back to a vibrant, unstoppable you. Clarity in Action is proudly sponsored by My Cluck Hut. Yes, the soap company that is the one your mother should have warned you about. Now, don't let the name fool you. This eco-friendly soap company will get you clean without feeling dirty. But you know what? My Cluck Hut is about more than just getting clean. They have built and continue to grow a community that gives a cluck about the planet, about people, and about creating a reality where diversity and sustainability are not a pipe dream, but fundamental core values. So when you shop with My Cluck Hut, you're not just buying soap, you're choosing to be a part of something bigger than any one of us can be alone. So if you believe in shopping with purpose and from a brand that isn't afraid to speak truth to power, then go check them out, mycluckhut.com. The 2025 Tennessee Pride Chamber Allied Business of the Year. My Cluck Hut, it's more than a soap company, it's a clucking revolution.
Well, some of the aspects of that help a person recognize, and I'm going to go back one step further. It is not easy to do this ourselves. It's because those strategies are so familiar, they're very hard to find ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It usually takes an outside resource who's pretty skilled at at hearing them and able to kind of decipher what exactly that really means. And to come back to that, then when we're in that place where, I don't really think that I need to do this, some of the things to consider is, what is this costing?
Yep.
because the longer we stay in that space, it's costing us not only personally
Mm-hmm.
and not only internally in terms of our energy, but it's costing us in a lot of ways in our life, because this will be showing up both personally and professionally, because that's one of the other, I would call it a ripple effect of what people achieve when they make these shifts, is pretty much all the time they say, you know what, I can't believe how much better my relationships are. And that's because when we're carrying that internal kind of conflict, like that foot on the gas and foot on the brake at the same time, it takes its toll.
Yeah,
And it
for
takes
sure.
its toll in all the buffers that we have in other parts of our life.
Yeah.
And I guess what also happens is, I would say, I would call it the heat. The
Mm,
heat definitely increases and the stakes get higher.
they sure do.
So we try to not to wait until the point where the stakes are right in our face, kind of thing.
That's so true. Because again, when you're
Yes.
in it, it's even harder because you're in it. So I love that. So if somebody is sitting here, they're listening to this and they say,
Mhm.
okay, I might be having some of these issues. I might be playing small. I might be avoiding some things. What is the first step? What is one first step that somebody can take to work to take the control back and get to that other side?
One first step that a person can take is, it's kind of an inventory of, so what's working for me? Like where are the areas that I would embrace anything? And what, in my opinion, is between me and my goals?
Mm,
Like what is between me and my goals?
yeah, that's a great one.
Yes, because the closer we look at it, like there's that saying that you can't change what you can't see, type of thing.
So true.
So the first thing you'd want to do is like, what is it? What is between me and my goals? And maybe I'm not really identifying it accurately, but I'm recognizing that there is a gap.
Hmm.
And then what I would look at from there is, because sometimes these strategies, they have multiple facets to them.
Yeah.
And it can feel very much like kind of like a mountain in front of us. So then I look at, like, what is the one big thing? Like, what is the one thing that would make a difference,
Hmm.
the biggest difference?
So
And if
good.
I was to boil it down to something that would actually influence everything, what would that be? And that one thing usually has a lot of heat to it. It's also got, you're emotionally invested in it,
Hmm.
and it will make a difference. Like there is an outcome. And when you look at the outcome that would be occurring if you didn't have this thing, it also, another question is to ask yourself, like, what is this costing me
Yeah. So good.
personally and professionally? Because
So
it
good.
it
It
is
is.
carrying a
It
cost.
is. Luann, this has been amazing. And I think this is so pertinent to everyone, to those who are leading to help not
Mhm.
only them lead better, but also guide their others, entrepreneurs, just anyone, because we're constantly growing. And even though today we might be on the top of our game, we're going to be facing some of these things down the road because it's that constant
Yeah.
evolution. So tell us a little bit. What are you working on now? What's next for Luann?
What's next for Luann? I'm really excited. I'm a mentor in the Mind Shift Journey program, and I'm very excited to work more with that because it has several structures from different thought leaders, Lisa Leahy, Bob Anderson, etc. Vertical development, and it really is. It's very transformational, and it excites me because people say, this is more than professional development or personal development. This is life changing. And so working through that process, which is very achievable. And I think that's one of the things that we learn by going through this process, is that what we really want is much closer than what we think.
That's a
And if
great
we can
way.
dream it, we can achieve it.
Ah,
So I'm totally excited about that. It's a fabulous program.
fantastic. Well, Luann, thank you for sharing with us. You are changing lives, and what an honor to talk with you and to have you share some wisdom with us. One last question for you. Sitting where you sit today, how do you now define success for yourself?
Success for myself is an inner success. It's like how how am I? it's interesting because in an earlier age, I would have had a definition of success more from an external world.
Hmm.
But now it's like, how am I happier with myself, more at peace with myself? And in that state, I always call it peace and power. You
Love it.
know, with alignment, we have both peace and power,
So
and
true.
that's my that's my
That's a good
definition of
one. I like
success.
it.
I like it.
So, well, Luann, thank you so
Thanks.
much for being here with us. I can't wait to share your talk and share all your information with the viewers, and just continued success to you.
Oh, thank you, and to you as well. I love your work. It's
Thank you.
fabulous. So thank you.
All right, let's get out there and let's keep changing lives, right?
Yeah. Yes, for sure. Let's do it.
Talking with Luann, it really put a lot of self reflection for me of not only how I used to operate, but it actually shared some things of what I'm still doing. We put these protection masks around us and we tell ourselves they're to keep us safe, but really they're hindering us. They're hindering our growth. They're hindering how we impact the world. And we really have got to stop doing it. So, again, we have to start thinking about, not just about what is working, but also what is not working. I love when she talks about the fact that growth and going through all of these things, yes, they are moments of vulnerability, they are moments of discomfort, and they are also the bridge to the transformation. And we need to walk through that bridge. There is a cost to everything, and you're playing small. There is a cost to that too. I think for me, if I hold back, if I play small, it is not just a cost impact to maybe my bank account, it's also a cost to the people that I could be serving. Thinking about the responsibility I have to show up every day, not just for my own life, but for the commitment that I've made for those around you. She talked about the idea of, are you driving with the brake on? Because a lot of us are thinking, oh, we're hitting the gas, but we're also holding ourselves back at the same time. And what a detriment that is. And then, she just talked about this idea that we have to have our own interventions. We have to be aware of these things. So I just encourage you, take a little audit on yourself. What's not working for you? Where are you playing small? And what are some of the things that you do to keep yourself in the comfort zone? You are born for greatness, and your playing small doesn't serve the world. So, like and keep following all these episodes. And please make sure to share this, because I guarantee you, if it's not you, it's someone else you know. And let's make sure that we are getting ourselves out of these comfort zones and stepping into greatness and transformation so that we can serve everyone on a higher level. I'm Clara Capano. We'll see you next time for another Clarity in Action.